Are you thinking about buying your first buy-to-let property but not sure where to start? Then this video is here for you. In this video, I'll take you through a clear 5-step process to get you ready and confident to buy your first buy-to-let investment. If you're new here, my name's James and I'm the co-founder and managing director of a property investment business called Freighter Property Partners. But this channel is all about helping you build and grow your knowledge about the property investment market in the UK, all without gimmicks or unrealistic promises. If you like the video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do when you want to buy your first buy-to-let property is work out your budget and affordability. Beginner investors often forget that they need to pay for things more than just a deposit. They'll need a 25% deposit, but you'll also need things like stamp duty, legal costs, broker fees, and a few other things that you'll need to pay for along the way. A general rule of thumb that I go by is you usually need about a third of the value of the property in cash to be able to purchase it. Once you've done this, then you'll know the value of the properties that you'll be targeting and what they look like. We've actually made a cost calculator and I'll put that link in the description so you can look at the cost of everything when buying a buy-to-let property. Obviously, a few of these things can slightly change, like your mortgage costs or broker fees, but it will give you an idea of the amount of cash you'll probably need when looking to buy your first buy-to-let. Once you've done this, the next step will be to speak to a mortgage broker. Although at this stage, the mortgage broker could only give you indicative figures of interest rates for you, they'll be able to discuss what your situation is and the likelihood of you being able to secure a buy-to-let investment mortgage. This is where it's super important that you speak to a broker that specialises within buy-to-let investment property. Buy-to-let mortgages are usually pretty straightforward because they're based on the rental income that the property is going to produce and stress test off the back of those figures. However, if your situation is unique or you've not bought an investment property in the past, then you'll need to speak to a mortgage broker first and build the confidence that you'll be able to get a buy-to-let mortgage. This is especially true if you're a first-time buyer, first-time landlord, so you don't own your own home yet. The reason for that is essentially lenders will have slightly different requirements. You might have a slightly higher interest rate on your mortgage, which means that you need to make sure that when you're looking at a deal, that it still works for you from that perspective. So you now know your budget and you know you can get a buy-to-let interest-only mortgage. The next step is deciding whether you're going to be purchasing a property in your personal name or through a limited company. Historically, a lot of investors used to purchase property through their personal name. However, in the last few years, it almost always makes sense for people to purchase property through a limited company. Having said that, I'm not a tax accountant and everyone's situation is different, so speak to a tax accountant that specialises within this and they'll give you the right advice for you and your specific situation. The chances are, if you're planning on purchasing multiple properties over the next few years, you'll probably get the advice that you'll need to set up a limited company. For at this stage, you can then set that limited company up or use a company to set your limited company up in the right way. A lot of first-time investors that I work with don't actually set their limited company up until they secure a property because of the fees involved in that. You can do it that way, but you just need to be able to move quickly as and when you've secured a deal so it won't delay the whole process. Number 4, you've worked out the intricacies of purchasing a property, you now need to find the property for you. At this point, you need to have defined your strategy and focused on whether you're looking at income or capital appreciation. For most beginners, it makes sense to look at properties that are due to grow in value over the long term. Immediate income, although it looks attractive, isn't often going to be the thing that helps you build your wealth. Having said that, every single deal that you do should at least make you a small profit every month. That might be in the region of £300 a month. Once you know whether you're focusing on your yield or your capital growth, you then need to pick a location for where you're investing in property. This should always be based on the fundamentals of a location. That includes the current infrastructure of a location, the employment levels and the growing employment of that location, the transport links both locally and nationwide, the education facilities and amenities of that particular location, for example, universities, good schools, cafes, restaurants and bars, and most importantly, it needs to be in an area which is affordable. If you're not yet sure on where to invest or which locations you can identify as a property hotspot, I have done another video on that and I'll put the link in the description. Once you've narrowed this down and found a property that you want to purchase, you then need to put an offer in, get that offer accepted and instruct the solicitors to move forward with the legal process. This is obviously quite a simplified step in the process. If you're looking at the open market and you're looking for a good quality deal, the chances are you'll have to put multiple offers until you find the right deal for you. Stay strict with your numbers, don't overpay for a property and build your wealth in the right way in the long term. Once you have that deal agreed and the property offer has been accepted, decided, what you need to do is instruct the right solicitors. Good conveyancing solicitors are difficult to come by, so make sure you use a recommendation or you look online and do enough research before you instruct that solicitor. If they're not very good at communication or they're very slow with the work they do, this could delay things and potentially you could lose out on a deal. And unfortunately, it wouldn't be the first time I've seen something like this happen. So to summarise these 5 steps, we'll look at the acronym A, B, C, D and E. A is affordability. Check that and make sure you know the budget of the property that you're going to purchase. B is broker. Speak to a mortgage broker, make sure you can get lending, and then you can find the right deal for you. C is company. Speak to an accountant, make sure that you're setting yourself up in the right way before you start investing. You don't want to purchase in your personal name and then realise that you should have done it the other way, or vice versa. D is due diligence. You need to find the right property for you in the right area once you've defined whether you're focusing on capital growth or yield. E is eventually find a property, make an offer, get it accepted and instruct the solicitors. Obviously, I know E was a little bit of a stretch there. But that is everything for this video. If you do need help speaking to an accountant, mortgage broker, solicitor, or anyone else throughout the journey, then feel free to drop me a comment and I'll point you in the right direction to good partners. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.